Okay, right. So we are still in the kingdom of Plantae. So previously we have discussed about the non-vascular plant. So now let's go to the vascular plant. So remember, under the vascular plant there are two categories. The first one is seedless vascular plant and seed vascular plant. So in this video we are going to discuss the seedless vascular plant. Okay, so remember, they are all having vascular tissue, meaning they have development of xylem and also phloem. The dominant stage of the life cycle, or the dominant generation of the life cycle, is sporophyte generation. So remember, all vascular plant, right? All vascular plant, regardless seedless or seed vascular plant, they are all having dominant generation of the life cycle, which is sporophyte. So why is it called as seedless? Because it is producing spores, right? So not producing seed, but it has sporangia that produce spore. The spore can be either homosporous or heterosporous. Homosporous means producing a single type of spore, right? Whereby heterosporous are species that produce two types of spore, which are megaspore and microspore. Megaspore will develop into female gametophyte with archegonia that will produce egg, while microspore will develop into male gametophyte. Micro is referring to male, mega is referring to the female. Microspore will develop into male gametophyte with antheridia that will produce sperm. And fern are the most abundant type of seedless vascular plant. So you can see from here, this is homosporous spore production, where most seedless vascular plant are having this type or producing one type of spore. You can see here the sporangium on the sporophyll produce a single type of spore, where this spore will develop into a bisexual gametophyte, which later on will develop into or producing eggs and also the sperm. As for heterosporous spore, you can see it produces two types of spore, megaspore and microspore, where megaspore found in megasporangium, right? While microspore found in microsporangium. So the megaspore will develop into female gametophyte with antheridium, female gametophyte with archegonium that will produce eggs, whereby microspore will develop into male gametophyte with archegonia with antheridia or antheridium with sperm. Okay, under the seedless vascular plant, there are two phylums, Phylum Lycophyta and Phylum Monilophyta. So the example of Phylum Lycophyta are Selaginella and Lycopodium. So you can see that, and the sporophyte is the dominant stage of the life cycle. Selaginella producing two different types of spores, so we call it as heterosporous spore, and Lycopodium produce one type of spore that we call as Homosporous. So the spores are found in strobilus. As for Phylum Monilophyta, the example are fern, and fern also have sporophyte as the dominant generation of the life cycle, and fern produce one type of spore that found in Sorus. Okay, right. Now let's start with the Phylum Lycophyta, club moses. So the sporangia, remember the sporangia containing spores. Sporangia in cone-like structure that called as strobili, right? So Selaginella, there are two examples under Lycophyta, Selaginella and Lycopodium. Selaginella produce two different types of spores, whereby Lycopodium produce one type of spores. Okay, so you can see this is Phylum Lycophyta, right? Selaginella. You can see that the sporangia is found in strobilus, in cone-like structure. You can see sporangia in cone-like structure called as strobilus or strobili. And this is the strobilus for Lycopodium. Okay. Next, for Phylum Monilophyta, example fern, right? Something special about Monilophyta is that remember, they are producing one type of spore or two different type of spores. They are producing one type of spore, Homosporous spore, where the spore will develop into a bisexual gametophyte. Right? So, for Monilophyta or fern, both gametophyte and sporophyte are photosynthetic and live independently. If we look at back to Bryophyta, remember for Bryophyta, sporophyte is attached to gametophyte. But for Monilophyta, the gametophyte and the sporophyte living independently and both can make their own food. Right? So that's why they are called as photosynthetic. The dominant stage of the life cycle is sporophyte, right? Fern or Monilophyta produce two different types of spores, right? That develop into bisexual gametophyte. And the gametophyte for fern or Phylum Monilophyta is known as protellus, that is lack of vascular tissue, right? So kalau gametophyte for Bryophyta we call as thallus, right? For fern or Monilophyta it is known as protellus. Okay, the protellus is around 1 to 2 cm smaller than the sporophyte. That's why sporophyte is more dominant. So the dominant stage of the life cycle is sporophyte. So the protellus has heart shape with rhizoid. So this is the rhizoid, right? And this is the heart shape protellus. Alright, so remember, fern produce one type of spore, right? Homosporous, which will develop into bisexual spore, right? So you can see here, this is one protellus that will produce both archegonia and antheridia. So this is archegonia, that very close to the apical notch, and this is antheridia that is close to the rhizoid. So archegonia will produce egg, antheridia will produce sperm. So you can see that both archegonia and antheridia is located on the same protellus. Okay. Okay, the sporophyte has rhizome, right, roots, and also fronds, which is leaf-like structure. Okay, right. Okay, so you can see this is the sporophyte and this is the gametophyte. Okay, right. So the sporangia found in cluster that called as sori or sorus at the back of the front. So kalau kita tengok pokok paku pakis, pergi pegang dan tengok belakang daun dia. I mean the fronds, at the back of the fronds. Okay, so you can see there is cluster of sporangia that we call as sori. Okay, and the sori is covered with indusium. Okay, so you can see this is the rhizoid, okay, antheridia and also archegonia, right? So this is the sori that is covered with indusium. Okay, right? So this is a cross section of sorus with indusium. So this is indusium that covered the sorus. So under microscope, you can see that this is the structure of the sporangium. Okay, right. That's all that you have to know about the phylum of Monilophyta, right? And Lycophyta, right? And that is put under or classified under Seedless Vascular plant.